Good morning and sliding into afternoon. Judy Allen here, San Antonio, Texas, and definitely overcast today. We might get some rain, right? So there you go. That's exciting always because I planted a garden and even some herbs, and I need rain. So there you go. So today we are going to make a couple of things, right? And they can be any. We can alternate them into anything we want. So that's the other thing I wanted to tell you is we're not locked into anything. So for sure, a Mother's Day card because Mother's Day is beginning of May, right? So it's right around the corner. It could easily be a birthday card. It could easily be an Easter card. It's whatever you want to do. The main thing is going to show you some tips and tricks, make it easy for you. All right. So let's go down to the hands and let's do this. Let's do it indeed. So one thing is you will see no host code because host codes are going away this month with Stampin' Up. So we're not going to be doing that anymore. Instead, you're going to have earn some rewards. So like when you spend $20 or more, you'll sit there and get 10% in some rewards credit there, right? So what we have here today, I'm going to show you this. We're going to make this here, but I want to first start you off with some tips and tricks, all right? Because lots of times people don't know what to do with some of this stuff. This is actually an already pre-die cut punch out that actually came with the paper, all right, that we're going to be using. And I just want to show you that. And we're going to use this stamp set here. But I'm going to set it aside because I want to show you that sometimes we get with this paper here and it's like, what do you do? And this is a sheet of paper just like this, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this for the card we're making, but I want to show you how I sit there and do it to make it easier for me. So we have paper this on the back side that we may want to use, but keep in mind you get 2 sheets of everything in your paper when you sit there and get the pack of paper. So we're going to use a couple of these, all right? So the first thing I look for is where can I do a straight line, the first straight line. So when you look at this here comes straight across, and you can do a straight cut right across there, all right? So we're going to do that first and get that out of the way, and then we're going to see how we're going to use the others, all right? So usually, these are usually in 3 or 4 inch segments. So all you got to do is put it on your cutter, paper trimmer, and so it's not 3 inches, and it looks like it's right at 4 inches. So you can see that. So it looks like it's going to form that straight line there. So we're just going to take this, and we're going to cut it. All right. So we get that out of the way, and you can see where we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. So we'll just come and cut these segments, but we're not going to do that today because I'm not using that today. All right. Next thing is you can look here and see what other lines we have. We can see here where it looks like we could do a straight line here and a straight line there. So that's what we're going to do. And this is 12 inches across, but it doesn't look even. So let's see here. I'm just going to line this. So if it doesn't look like it's going to go evenly to a 3 or 4, then look and see where this lines up with the paper coming. It's got a thin, right here is where your blade goes, and you just want to make sure you sit there and line it there. And usually they always use quarter inch increments, right? So this is actually 3.5 is where this is at. So we're just going to take it and we're going to come straight across from here. And I'm betting that the other side, I'm going to set this here because we're going to use some of these. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm pretty confident if that was 3.5, this is going to be 3.5 too because they looked like they were the same size. And they are. So we'll just put that on a 3.5. I'm going to take this. All right, so you can see that we've narrowed it down to 3 different panels like this right here. Now we're going to use this part here. So I'm going to set these 2 aside because they all have common things, right? So you can see you would cut straight across here. You would cut straight across here. And you would rotate this, right? You want to make sure you cut between these here so you have a tag. You have something to do with this right here, right? So let me set this aside because we're not using this one. I haven't decided if we're going to use part of this one or not. So we can come down here. I'm going to cut off to this pink tag because I haven't decided if I'm going to use this pink tag or not. Again, it's pretty darn close. This one's not as close as the other was. Yeah, I guess it is. This is 3 inches. All right. So yeah, they usually do things in quarter inches, right? So this is make it right at what? 5 inches, all right? We're not using the cake, but here's the back side. So when you do the cutting on these, you just need to make sure the back side isn't directional and you might want to use it. All right, so these look like they're about 1 inch. which I just looked at this inch. So I'm going to cut this one off here because I may use this one. And then we could do the same thing to those, but I'm not going to do that right now because I want to keep it that way. All right, this one's the same way. So we're going to cut this off. Again, this is going to line up to about 1 inch. So actually, we're going to use 3 things off of here. Because I sort of got this idea. I got this idea and sort of cased it. I'm modifying everything else. I've got my notes somewhere here. I'll be able to tell you in a little bit. So we're going to be using those for sure. And for sure, I'm going to use this one right here. All right, so sometimes we have to use the sleuth in this, right, to decide what people use. Because we don't always know and they don't always tell, right? So I'm going to put that aside. I'm not going to use, but we're going to use this. We're going to use this, and I don't know which 2 we're going to use from that. But I just want to show you there's just an easy way so that when you go and you get these sheets like this and you don't know what to do with them, go ahead and cut them apart and see follow the lines, right, which makes sense. Get the first big, long, straight line, get part of it out of the way, and then forge on with the rest of it, right? Okay, so here's the components we're going to use. And let me pull this out because we're going to make 2 cards today. Now, I got this template. This was actually a blog hop of some folks. And it was the Sweet Stampede April blog hop. So anyway, I got this from them here. And I actually went and measured these because actually this was to scale. So I went ahead and measured this. This is actually 1 by 3 7/8. I'll double check that again. And so I wrote the measurements as it was. Yeah. Okay. Yes, so this is the actual size. So I put the measurements here just so you can see, but you can alter it, right? So sometimes even when our catalog, I'll see something like this where you got a layout, right? And it's like, well, what are you going to do with the layout? Well, sometimes I just don't know, right? So what I've done with this one is I've taken white cardstock, and we're going to use this here, and we're going to make a Mother's Day card. And I have embossed this with Eyelet 3D embossing folder, which this is not retiring. We will still have that. The next one I use, the next card is retiring. So I'm going to actually sort of put this down right here. I haven't decided. I've got gold ribbon that we can add to, right? Because gold ribbon's going to go down. So at least let's get the layout so the layout looks similar to this right here. All right, so I cut this piece right here and put it right there. So this is going to depend, right? A lot of this is going to depend if you want to make this, size it up to make this to cover the 4 inch by 5.5. In this particular case, we're putting it on cardstock that's been embossed. And we're going to put it like this here. And this one I did at the 1 3 7/8. So you can see that it's not quite, if you follow what this is measured, it doesn't leave quite enough for that there. So you'd have to, if you wanted this 3/4 piece to be exactly how this layout is, you're going to have to modify this a little bit because it doesn't quite fit, right? Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're actually going to use this piece that is 3/4 inch, which is right here. And we're going to actually, so you can see this doesn't quite go across, right? So if you want it to go across, which we're going to do, we're going to cut this in half. All right, so you'll see in a minute why we're going to do it. So sometimes the paper and what we have does not fit, or doesn't fit the space we want. We need more of it, right? Well, this is all there is. So this is, it's like 3.5. So I'm just going to cut this at 1 3/4. And we're going to make flags on the end of it, okay? So if you have paper that you want to use to highlight something and it doesn't fit, cut it in half because this is going to be covered, all right? If you see here, we've got we're a square. We're not going to use a square. We're going to use the flowers here, all right? So this won't be seen. So that's the things you got to keep in mind is if you're not going to use it, if you're going to have it covered, right, it doesn't matter. You can cut it off. And nobody's going to know the difference. And I'm just going to flag it right here. So the easiest way to do this is just come down the center. And then we're going to cut from the corner here to the spot I just did there. We'll take that off. And we'll do the same thing and we'll have our flag in, right? Okay. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So this is going to come over here. So you're going to see some of the pink there. And actually, I'll most probably flip-flop that. I'm going to most probably move the green up and bring that down a little bit because I have to put gold ribbon behind it, right? I'll do this right here the same way. So it's just an easy way to flag yourself if you don't have the die, or maybe your die isn't big enough to do what you're wanting to do. Then just create it yourself, right? Okay. I've been known to create my own DSP paper and so forth. Also, I'm actually going to move this one up just a little bit, and then I'm just going to put this right about here and right about here. Okay, so it'll flag off to the end like that. And then in addition to that, I'm going to put some gold ribbon. All right. So let's go ahead and get this stuff up on here. I'm not going to put the blue part on yet because I'm going to put the gold ribbon right where the empty space is to give it some color here. So we're just going to put this on with adhesive. And it's pretty, right? Its paper is pretty on both sides. And when it's like this, you can do so many things with it. So yes, so actually this is from the birthday set. It's called Wishful. I'm trying to think what the back of the paper says. I'm trying to visualize it in my mind. It is called Wildflower, not Wishful, Wildflower. Wildflower Birthday. So, but we can make Easter cards with it, right? It's beautiful. It's got the Easter colors in it. We can make a Mother's Day card with it. And we can make a birthday card, right? But this particular one's going to be a Mother's Day. So I even send my aunts, right? I send my aunts Mother's Day cards. I send my daughter-in-law's Mother's Day card. And my daughter is the future mother of my grandchildren, but it's not today. So in the future, I can give her Mother's Day cards. All right. So I'm just going to do this right here. So I'm actually flip-flopping this, okay? Because it doesn't really matter, right? These two ends are the same. So basically, mine's going to go like this because I can, right? So when you think of that, when you get samples and so forth and all, you can do it any way you want to do it, all right? So I choose to do mine that way. And the other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add this gold ribbon. So I just need it right in here, right? I just want it as a background. So actually it's going to end up being folded in half, and I'm going to use some tear and tape here to sit up there and add this back here. So all I'm going to do is fold it in half, or you can squish it up. I've also squished it up before too and sort of wrapped it like this and then like this as well too. Either or. Just get one end taped down, then you can decide which what you want to do. I found that tear and tape is really nice because there's my end. You can use glue dots too, but sometimes when I'm twisting and doing some other things, it's just nice to have that extra right there. So I'm just going to take this here, making sure it's in the space I want it, and I'm just going to tape it down. Nobody's going to see it, right? It's sort of like sewing and you do basting and things like that. Nobody's going to see it, right? So I'm just going to leave it there. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to know. I assure you, when I send this to whoever I send this to, they're not going to be worried about what the back of the card looks like because they're not going to be able to see it. All right, so let me cut some of this off. All right, now put that aside. And then I'm just going to twist it, right? So I'm going to twist it just like I was showing you. In fact, I'm going to start back here, right? Because I want the twisted look. If I'm going to do it, I want it to come across, right? It's not going to come across if I sit there and start right there on the edge. So I'm going to start back there. And then I'm just going to come over here. So it looks like I have covered it with a paper or whatever, but I didn't, right? I just took and did it with ribbon. So we're going to anchor this down with some tear and tape. Again, keep in mind, nobody's going to see it. It's going to be anchored down to the card. I'm just going to put it right there. Okay, I can trim it down. All right, so nobody's going to see it. It's going to look just like that, all right? Okay, so I'm going to put this now down. I'm going to put it down with glue because it's going to work better with glue, right? Because I've got all the rough spots right here, and then I'm going to have this as well, too. So let's do it with glue. So you have to keep those things in mind, right? Depending on what you're putting it down with, what the texture is, right? And so I'm just going to put it down flat. I'm not worried about that because everything will be glued down, so nobody's going to see it. All right, I'm going to have it just like this. There we go. All right, okay. So we got it down. All right, then we have this piece right here. Well, this piece is going to be put up on dimensionals. All right. So we're just going to put this up with dimensionals. So this is a huge piece. So what I would do, at least we want the height. If you don't have to take the sticky stuff off of every one, if you don't want to. But we definitely want it to sit there because it's a large piece. We definitely want to sit there and make sure it's going to have the height and it's not going to sag in the middle and everything. All right, okay? So it's going to go just like this. I'm going to just at least do the outlines, and I'm looking at this, and I better do my blue stuff down here right first too. So hold on, getting ahead of myself. So yeah, so this is the free classic kit to go, and in addition to that, it is our club. This is our club card for this month. So what I'll do on this is I will just do this right here. Just take this off, or you can use scissors. And I'm just going to put some on the end here because I don't need a full piece. I just need, because it's going to go right over here, right? So I just need something on the edges. And when you do this, it sits there and just does enough, right? So I can do around the edges. I can do the same thing on the other side. So we're just tearing off this part that we usually throw away, right? And we're making use of it. And then, like I said, it's a club kit. So this is the free class to go, right? Which is the information's there in the comments. And or we also have, this is our Adventure Club, which closes out, I think, the 11th of this month, just the way things are. I'll have to double check on that for you because I don't know offhand. So I'm just going to make this so it goes right to the edge. So you can do this whatever you want. So I'm making sure the pointy parts go right here to the edge. And I'm just going to make sure my ribbon's right there in the middle, okay? I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And like I said, it's going to be hidden, right? Because we have our flowers that are a nice size. So it's going to hide this. So you don't have to worry about that we've cut this in half. So nobody knows, right? Except for if you're watching or you watch the replay or whatever, you're not going to know that I sat there, or you'll have to see it in the tutorials, right? That I've actually cut this in half to make this work the way I want it to work. So again, I'm doing it, just extending it over just like that. And I've lined it up, all right? So now we can sit there and put this over it. I had it just the way I wanted it a minute ago, right there. So see how this is going to cover that up? And I've already taken off the paper there so the sticky stuff isn't there. And we're just going to put it on here, okay? All right, so now we have our tags. So I have two tags here. I could either do one that's Happy Mother's Day, or I could do, so either one will go, right? It's just what your preference is. I was leaning toward the pink, but I could just as easily do the blue, right? But now, because I was going to use, you're going to take a look at your inks, right? Because I actually am using, and these are the things you have to keep in mind, what are you going to use with it? So I actually was going to use this Blueberry Bushel. Now, I don't know that Blueberry Bushel is going to look really cool next to this, but just a minute. I already had I had already stamped something else. And we're also going to do some splattering. Okay, so I had actually done this here. And that I could put in there. So, but this will give you an idea for color, right? So if I did this, because this is done in Blueberry Bushel. And you can see how it looked right here. Okay, so it doesn't look as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to look worse than that. But I still think I like the pink better, okay? So let's stick with the pink. All right, so we're going to do Happy Mother's Day on here. Now, I've had this stamp set here, and so it doesn't have Happy Mother's Day all the way across. We're going to have to do it ourselves, right? We're going to have to create what we want. So I'm actually going to do Mother's first because it's the longest word out of here. We got Happy Mother's Day, right? So let's do Mother's. And if you're not sure, just line it up, okay? So here's Mother's, and I may not be able to do Happy Mother's Day. I thought it would, unless I flip it over. All right, there's Mother's. Let's get happy. There's Lady. I know happy. See, there it is. Happy. There's a lot of words on here. I like the fact they got Nana, because I am a Nana. So I like the fact they have Nana on here. So we have happy. So we may not. We may have to go on the other side. If so, we'll just flip it over, okay? So here's happy and mothers. And let me get day. So sometimes if it doesn't work out right, we just flip it over and use the other. Oh, you know what? The other side of this is not white, I bet you, as I'm being so optimistic. In fact, I know it's not. Okay. And then happy Mother's Day better just work out here. All right, so we have this and we have day. All right, so I already know just sitting stamps next to each other that they take up more space than when I actually stamp the words, okay? But I just need basically a ballpark of where I need to get things going at, right? So I can actually stagger this as well too. I'm definitely going to put mother right about there. Now we can get day. Happy is going to be the issue. All right. So I'm just going to get it on here. And we're going to ink it up. Yes, so just a reminder, just FYI, if you don't know, Facebook is no longer keeping videos more than 30 days. So if you were looking for the videos, you saw one, and you want to see it again, then you're just going to have to go to YouTube. YouTube's our friend on this. All right. Really and truly, I'm not worried about day as much as I am happy. But you know, if I have to do over, I can do over. Let me see what happy is going to be. Because I can always just squeeze day in. I'm not worried about day. But I might have to alter, right, if I can't get this in here. Okay, so see, that's not going to be quite. See how I'm just not going to make it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp it up right up here. Because I can. I would do it on the back, but see how that's yellow, so that's why I knew after I thought about that it wasn't going to work. And then I'm just going to do day, and I'll just do day down here at the bottom. And then I have bling. I have butterflies, I have bees. I don't know if I have anything else, that's for sure a no. Everything has a spot, right? So I'm looking for happy now. I do like it when they sit there and put the words in here, and you can put these, there we go. Put these on there just like that. Makes life easier for me. All right, then we're going to do day. Oops, I got ink all over the place on that one. Wow. A very juicy stamp. All right, so we can actually add our butterflies and so forth here. All right, so let me put that away. Get this cleaned off. So yes, we're making 2 cards today. So this one's really the stepped up card, right? Because we really taken it to another level there. All right, and we're just going to put this right up here, okay? Yep, it's going to go best down here. I would tell you there, but I really don't. I want it to be right up here, right? So I'm just going to sit there, and I'm going to put some glue right there. So if you've done floral design, sewing, or any other crafting, right, we always hide our work. And then we can stack dimensionals under here, because you can see how that's going to sit there and just be higher than this over here. So then what we'll do is we'll stack dimensionals. So what we do when we do stacking dimensionals, it's just literally that, right? So let me stack this up here, because we already know we have this on a dimensional, we have this on a dimensional, this is on top, so I only need 2 levels of dimensionals. So I'm just going to stack them together like that. And I'm just going to put it under here. Now I could have done that at first, right? Now let's see. I have to put it a little bit right. Okay, see how that's going to be right there? Alright, I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So I tell you, don't sweat the small stuff, right? So sometimes when we sit there and do something and we did it later or afterwards, it's okay. All we gotta do is just go back and you can tuck stuff under just like we just did. Okay? And we're gonna tuck this under right here. And then we'll have this up on double dimensionals too. Just to make sure it's got it hidden underneath there. Okay, yep. Alright, so we got Happy Mother's Day. So the only other thing is we're going to just add a little bling here. So I actually got the butterflies, and honestly, I am not sure if this is... I don't think these are last chance. But they go very nice, right? So let's just get these on here. And we'll get another one over here. So either or, right? The bees would look just as nice too. And I'm going to put another one up here. Okay. So there we go. We have a very nice Happy Mother's Day card, right? Now if this was like you wanted more color to this, you could actually splatter color on here. And we're going to show you how we do that on the next card, all right? So let's put this aside. We got our Mother's Day card. And we're going to put that aside. And then we're going to come over here and create a birthday card. Alright, so this card is actually been, I pulled this aside, but I already had a happy birthday on here that I planned on using. I could put this right here in the middle, but that wasn't my goal. But we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so again, we just used 8.5 by 11 paper here. Now this is going to retire. This is the... So it's on the last chance list, right? Oops, so here we go. It's Layered Florals 3D. Alright, and we're just going to put this down. So this is just a simple card. This has been embossed. It's a simple card. Again, because it's been embossed. See all that? This is 3D embossing. You see all the images. So I'm just going to sit up here and put this down here. And as I'm thinking about this, we really could have distress the edges there if we wanted to. That would have been another option, but I didn't do that. But you could. And so the flowers really aren't directional. If you see that, just turn that around. So they're really not directional. But by just taking this, it just gives it such a nice look, right? I did put that aside. I'll have to come back to that. Alright, so this right here, I'm just going to put up here with dimensionals, okay? Look at what I just did. I just threw something everywhere. Okay. So we're just going to put this over dimensionals. Alright, we could leave it just like this. We don't even have to add anything to it. But I am going to add some ribbon behind the tag. Okay, and put one in the middle. Alright. So let's get this on here, and then we'll get our tag. So we could do happy birthday, but we're gonna add a little color to it, right? Sometimes things just look a little on the... You got too much white space there, and you want to add something to it. So I'm just gonna center this right here. That's just how easy it is to make a card. This is already pre-die cut with the paper in the paper kit. Let's see if I've got a back or a white sheet of paper here. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to flick color on here. So we're going to take the cap of the pen here, and we're just going to, if you want to test it out, just test it out first so you can see what it looks like. And I'm just going to do that same right here. Sometimes we do the retreat, do the Adventure Club and so forth, we always think it doesn't have enough color to it, and it looks so plain. So we sit there and we just add color to it. Alright? Now we're going to add some of that gold ribbon right behind here. Now, so I planned on Happy Birthday. We could make this Happy Easter. We could make this Happy Mother's Day. If we put this on here, I would most probably trim the edges off just so that it was center. Okay? And you can see just by adding that how much of a difference it makes, right? Okay, but let's take one other step here. Let's see how it looks with ribbon, all right? It's all about choices. I like choices. So when I was looking at the ribbon, I had looked at twisting it, right? And just letting it twist in the middle. And just let this hang on the end, just like that, just to give it a touch of gold. All right? So I don't know, you'd have to tell me what you think of that one. Or the other would be do the same thing, put this on here, and we could still put the gold behind it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do it that way. And if I do it that way, I'm going to go ahead and trim off these edges. Because you can see this is going to, you're really going to miss the gold on this, and the gold is really what makes this so nice. So I'm just going to take what looks like a natural line right here, right? And we're just going to snip that off. And I still then have the die look on the edges there, except for the ends here. And that should get us right in the middle here. Not quite. Okay. We'll just do a smidgen on each end again, alright? So it's sort of like making a cake or just cooking in general, right? If you need to add more salt, you just go dump in a bunch of salt. You usually add some and taste it again. So we're doing the same thing. We're not just going to hack, taking off a big chunk of paper without looking and seeing what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just take adhesive to put this down. I'll cut this in just a second. We're just going to stick this right in the center. Oops, got off the center there. Okay. And we're just going to put this in the middle. Like that. Alright. Like I said, this could be happy birthday. This could be happy Mother's Day. There you go. So right now, I'm trying to think. I don't know how many Easter cards I got them finishing up today so I can get them in the mail to family, friends, and so forth and all. I'm just going to extend this just a little on each end so I have some wiggle room. Well, so the thing is, if I get to the point that I don't have quite enough Easter cards, this is going to become an Easter card. I'm just going to do another tag, right? I'm going to put this down here and twist it. I'm just going to do another tag and cover the happy birthday, right? Nobody knows that except you and I, because I told you. If I hadn't told you, you wouldn't even know, right? So that's why I said I wouldn't sweat the small stuff, right? If I wanted the other card I first made, if I needed a birthday card, right, I could do the same thing. So I'm just going to twist this like this. And it's just because I want that look, okay? That's the only reason. I want a certain look for that ribbon when it comes out on the end. So that's why I'm just sort of taping this down, because it's going to give me the look I want. That there. Again, we're just going to use some tear and tape because it's going to be hidden. You can use this. Well, okay. I used tear and tape and it just came off of my hand. So we'll see if this works. It should work. It shouldn't matter. Twist this again. Alright, and then I'm just going to put that there and here. Okay, there we go. Alright, so see how this is going to look when it comes on the end here, so I can do either way. I don't have to. Almost reminds me of a Tootsie Roll Pop or something. Alright, let me twist this here too, because this isn't quite how I want it to look. See how this one I can get it to look just like that? Alright, I want to do the same thing here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is this is where I'm going to take a dimensional and use it as to be a tool for me to help me out here as well. It's going to hold it down. And this one was already the way I wanted it. Okay, I'm just going to take this off. And I put one in, I don't need one in the middle because I got this right in the middle right here. Alright, so just go like this right here. I'm just making sure I got it pretty centered, right? Alright, so then I can just trim this off. And I just have enough gold at the end just to give it a nice little touch. Right? It's not like the gold is dominating one thing and the other. But it's just going to give it some extra sparkle all on its own. You can flay that out however you want to do it. Right? And if you want to add butterflies, we can add butterflies too. So I still have butterflies, right? So we can put happy birthday here with some, like I said, so if I decide I need an Easter card, guess what? Then this tag will come off and I'll use it on something else. And we'll just put another one up here. Right? Okay, so there we go. We got a very nice happy birthday card. And we have our Happy Mother's Day card, right? So we could come back if we want to. We could splatter someone here. If you did, and when we did that, I would sit there and definitely mask it. And let me just do that right now. I want to show you. Because I do like it with, that was me. I picked up my husband at the airport yesterday. Alright, so if you want to mask it, okay, like I already put this on here and I decided I really like that one so much that I want this one to be the same. Alright, so I can do the same thing. I'm just going to take some post-it notes to put around here, so I don't get on the rest of my card. I don't know that would really hurt or anything, right? But just in case you didn't want it, so I'm just going to put this around. I have plenty of post-it notes, right? Between die cutting and so forth and all, we use post-it notes for a little bit of everything. So since I made the decision afterwards I like this one so much, then just mask it, right? I think we'll be okay there. Again, we're just going to do the same thing. We take the lid off, and I'm just going to, it's not going to matter that I get pink on pink, right? See if I can get any pink at all. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, so the nice thing is if you see a spot, you feel like you didn't have enough color to it or whatever, then just take it over to that area and flick it, and you have your color. So see what a little bit of color makes a difference. There we go. So here's the first card that we started. This is going to be more stepped up, right? Because we have more layers and everything and all. We embossed both of them, just a simple version. Both could be a Mother's Day card, both could be an Easter card, and both could be a birthday card, right? And this was straight from the paper itself, right? We were able to cut those off. Those already came with the paper. We just added this to the middle, and these were already die cut in the paper packet too. And then we embossed here, we embossed back here, and then we just added our paper. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed that, right? Because there's just different techniques that we can use, and it's just understanding things so we can make it easier and go out and create what we want to create. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I want to thank you for supporting us not only here on Facebook, but also on YouTube and Instagram. And if you hadn't noticed Instagram yet, Zoe has taken up putting out photos on Instagram for me. So there you go. So we'll see how she does. She's pretty excited to do it. So with that, have an amazing week. Be blessed. Look forward to seeing you again next week as we make 2 more cards, and that'll be the wrap up of our free class to go, the 1st through the 15th, and then we'll move on to something else. All right? And don't forget, you still have a couple of spots left with the retreat. So if you're interested in joining us for the spring retreat on the 26th or 29th, I'm not sure, it was up there, it's posted there on our page, but it's coming up, right? But the deadline is next week to be able to sign up. So don't wait till the last minute because there are only a few spots left. Be blessed. Look forward to seeing you next week, but keep it simple or step it up. Bye.